Hey everybody, greetings to Haneda Airport. This is the domestic terminal. I just flew in from Sapporo, New Chitose Airport to Haneda. As you can see, I'm wearing a mask. You don't really want to take any chances on the airplane, but right now, there's really not too much to worry about. However, it makes Kanai feel better to know that I'm wearing a mask, and you just never know. There's still a lot of mystery involved with the coronavirus. I am not a scientist, but I will tell you all the news that's happening here in Japan. So I'm wearing the mask right now. You want to have the glue on the outside. You see that? And you want to make sure that there's some sort of metal here, and there's a metal rod here, which helps to pop the mask out so it's not touching your face. I've been using this, which is a hand purifier from Indonesia. I bought it in Bali. I'll put this on my hands, but first I will remove the mask carefully, not to touch the outside of it. Turn it inside out and throw it into the rubbish bin. After I throw it away, I use this on my hands. So anything that was, where's the rubbish bin? Oh, okay. Anything that was on my hands all of a sudden is dead. So let me put this on here. I'm gonna, in this live stream, go over, it's hard to do it with two hands. All right, I got it here. There you go. So a lot of the infection, even the scientists today are not quite sure about whether it's how airborne it is, but they do know for sure that if you touch stuff and you touch your eyes and your mouth, that's probably the biggest way that people are getting it, or in close quarters between people. Japanese news said that if you're talking near somebody, you can get it, but up to about 2 or 3 meters away, it's, I think it's, as I said, 5 meters is safe. So if you're 5 meters away from somebody with it, you're not gonna catch it. That's what they said on Japanese news. So, but there's still a lot of mystery involved with it. Now, the news is that the cases for the coronavirus in Japan are skyrocketing. You've all seen it. The Princess cruise ship is docked in Yokohama. Guys, most of them are not, they're not Japanese, first of all. They're just in Japan. They're quarantined on the ship already. I don't think any of them got off and infected anybody on shore. So despite the news trying to scare you into thinking that the rates in Japan are skyrocketing, they are, but this is a quarantine ship off the coast. And my gosh, those people on the ship are going through some absolute nightmares right now. And the empathy of all of the people in Japan are we just feel all really bad for them. And the government just does not know exactly how to handle this. It's a tough situation all around. And the cruise ship, I believe, has refunded all of the guests and going to be paying for their medical care. And it was a pretty expensive ship as well. A stateroom was like $3,000-$4,000 with depending if you had a balcony or not. I was reading the news, but I don't want you to get afraid and say that the numbers of the corona patients in Japan are skyrocketing. It's not like these people are walking around us as zombies infecting everybody. We just do not know that. 2 weeks later, the news is that the people who were in Wuhan and the province, they were the first people to come down with it here in Japan, and there really has not been much spread, maybe about 30 people, and the rest of it is 160 or so on the cruise ships. These numbers are going to be changing. My point is, despite what you see on the news, don't take that all with a huge block of salt, not even a grain of salt, because you can't just use that as a number, and the news makes you think that these people are walking around coughing and infecting other people. They're on quarantine on a ship. The biggest concern now is getting them help. All right. So if you're thinking about coming to Japan and you see the numbers going up, it's disingenuous. It's not exactly the case, and I want you to feel some sort of feel a little bit relaxed. Everybody here is already taking precautions because it's flu season. So there's nothing, because of that, I don't see transmission like spiking hugely right now. However, kafun, hay fever season is coming, and everyone's going to be sneezing like crazy, especially in Tokyo. That's more of a worry. Getting anyone who's sick and has hay fever will be getting it all over the place. So that's coming up next month. So that worries me the most. Hay fever season in Japan. But I just want to reiterate that what you see on the news with expanding numbers and Japan's #2 and blah, 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 no deaths. Everyone is aboard. Like 75, 80% of those cases are aboard on one cruise ship. And they're in Japan. Sometimes docking at Yokohama for supplies, and that's it. So don't worry too much about it. Interesting. What can you do? And I'm going to be doing this as a Q&A. This is an apple vending machine. Some apple slices in there. This is the vending machine corner in Haneda Airport for the domestic terminal. So I just touched something. You have to keep that in mind. Interesting. Got some interesting stuff here. I'm going to take some of your questions about your concerns here. Oh, look, this one's from, is that Family Mart? Onigiri, hot dogs, churros, bakery. Just a hot food vending machine. Probably the best thing in here. The rest of it tastes like chemicals. It's really nasty. Takoyaki's not bad. I'm going to be taking your questions and talking about the coronavirus here in Japan. I really do not think that you should be so worried that you cancel your trip, but I think you should be extremely concerned. All right. I think you should take precautions, wash your hands, stay away from crowds when you are, make sure you wear a mask. Don't do anything, don't touch your face, try to make it a habit to not touch yourself. Wear up from the neck up, for those of you. And look, I'm living here, and I do not see or feel, even in Sapporo and during the snow festival, the people here are very vigilant. They're very, very worried, all right? And that's a good thing. At the snow festival in Sapporo, they had announcements that everybody should wear masks. When I was doing the Onsen Matsuri at Noborimatsu, everybody was wearing a mask, all the audience. Any place where there's a big crowd, Japan is handing out masks to people to wear them, so then there's no spread of it. So this is it's an amazingly good and important thing that they're doing this, so they're ready for this. But you should be concerned, but that should not be a reason for you to cancel your trip. You should be wearing a mask anyway during influenza season in Japan. I'm just telling you because you may have it and infect other people and not know it yet, or there may be other people who have it, and wearing a mask does cut down on the percentage of it, especially if you wear it correctly. All right. This is all some serious talk here. Over the last 2 weeks, the cases of people infected inside of Japan has not gone up much. There's still something like 30. Mostly people who have been to China or people who have been in contact with Chinese tourists from the mainland China. There's a lot of discrimination right now going on with Japanese who came back from China. And this is really sad, but I think that this will pass as we learn more and more about this. The uncertainty of the coronavirus from Wuhan is the thing that's most scary. And I want you to keep that in mind, that fear is not, it's not a reason to cancel, okay? But if you do feel so scared that you can't come, I mean, you do, some people have that fear where they just feel sick to their stomach, then you have to follow your heart and your stomach, all right? Then you have to cancel. And I do not feel it. I do not see the reason why you have to. There's no documented proof that it's spreading here in Japan, and if you're keeping to yourself and staying away, getting enough sleep and eating right and protecting yourself, there's no worry anywhere, except maybe China. And our hearts really go out to those that are out there. I'm going to take some of your questions now. thanks so much for everyone who's tuning in. I'm gonna give you another update in another week or 10 days if any news develops. So give me a thumbs up and let me know that you really need an update. The reason why I'm doing it is because over the last 2 weeks, about the last 10 days, about 2 weeks since the last update, when I gave you an update on Ikebukuro about masks being in short supply, that's still the case. In Japan, it's very hard to find sick masks. And if you walk around the airport here, you're not gonna find any, but everybody's wearing them. I took mine off because I have another one. I'm gonna use another one. Don't worry about it. But I think like if you're touching the tabletops here, for example, I just put my hand here. I probably should use alcohol wipes and wash my hands down again, because some of these places are not so clean. Here, I just touched this. I should wash my hands now. I want you to just to think about this, and just in these kinds of situations, you really do have. Oh, look at the massage chairs. I didn't know about that. How you doing? I want you to think about things like that when you touch things, and then you touch your face. If you're not, the thing with wearing a mask when you're not infected is that wearing a mask prevents you from touching your face and infecting yourself. All right, that's another positive of wearing a mask. I'm gonna walk now through Haneda Airport's arrival. This is the domestic arrivals, and just show you. You can see all the people that are wearing masks and not wearing masks. It gives you an idea of the threat level psychologically that people have right now. One of the biggest concerns that people had was the airport, and all the staff is wearing masks. All the staff is wearing masks. Everybody who's dealing with customer service now is wearing masks. A lot of the hotel staff now are being asked to wear masks. People working at counters, most of the staff already wears masks. At the 7-Eleven and Family Mart, most people wear masks in the winter anyways because they're at a super high risk of being infected by influenza. So that hasn't changed much. People that are in constant contact with other people working in service industries are wearing masks. So this is another thing. I want you to wear masks when you're here in the airport and in other areas. And if you have kids, you can buy kid size. Just maybe before you leave, try it on and see if the kids can keep it on for 2-3 hours, just to see if they touch the mask. Just ask them, how do they feel about it? Because kids are not really good with the mask. It doesn't make sense to wear. Doesn't make sense to wear a mask if you're going to be taking it on and off. So all right. All right, that's the end of domestic terminal number 2, I believe. Yeah. I hope that answers some of your questions. Sometimes just visualizing it and seeing it is enough for you to understand it without me telling you. The best proof is just looking at other people and getting a feel of the situation by people's faces yeah. All right, go ahead if you have any questions. I'm also looking on the Discord server. If you have concerns, go over there. There's people here in Japan that are answering your questions 24 hours a day. No viruses do not survive well in the cold. Corona's in the US. Not sure about the US. There are a handful in Canada. There are people. Your mask, sir. I don't need to, I'm not in an area with high density of people. As long as they don't touch my face, I'm fine. And nobody coughs at me. It's not airborne beyond a couple of meters, so you should not be. That's another thing. Do not be paranoid, but sometimes paranoia can help you prevent diseases. But I think you can go overboard with it. Somebody lives in Corona. Matsumi, sorry Matsumi. Dang. travel all around the world except Africa. Yeah, I don't know what the travel situation is in other countries. One of the first companies to release an update was JAL, telling people about how they were going to wear masks and some of the preventative measures for international flights coming into Haneda, Narita, and Kansai, and Nagoya, and Fukuoka, and even Chitose. They're checking the temperature of people. Anyone with a fever is getting stopped and asked questions about where you've traveled to. So just be ready for that. If you do come and you're not feeling good, they're very aggressively checking. Like sometimes you'd walk through there and there's nobody there, or there's maybe one person, they look like they're asleep. This time they're like sitting on the edge of their chairs, just scanning every single person, and that's a good thing. Japan's an island; it can be somewhat more contained, but right now I just simply do not see any proof that this thing is spreading beyond the people that were infected last week. It's such a small trickle, and what you see again, just to reiterate, on the cruise ship, is a completely different situation where they're already quarantined and off coast, but they're being counted against Japan. And I want you to, when you see that the numbers and the news playing it up, it's disingenuous. That's not actually the situation that's going on. These people are not zombies walking around coughing on everybody. And still, 30 or 40 people is 0.0000000. Like, it's a ridiculously small percentage of the population. All right, so the chances of you getting it is really small. On a side note, 12 to 25,000 people have died of normal influenza this year. So let's keep it real, people. Any questions here? I'm fearful of making an economic impact on China and the world. Daniel, that's a good question. The economic impact on Japan has been pretty tough. Mainland Chinese tourists, especially package tourists, make up a great deal of the economy in Hokkaido. And when I was just last night, I stayed in a hotel where there was massive cancellations from package tours, and I got a good deal on a hotel, but they're kind of hurting. And you could tell that at breakfast and I peeked in at dinner, the tables were a little bit more empty than usual. So the economic impact is pretty bad for Japan because of this, as well as China's economy. Everybody's hurting except for mask makers, people who are making the paper masks. How is this going to affect the Olympics? Excellent question. We just do not know yet. But I'm going to tell you one thing. I think that the New York Times and a lot of the news networks are playing this up way too much. Like how Japan reacts to the cruise ship will determine whether or not the Olympics is going to be successful. Again, widespread coronavirus in Japan is not there. And we don't see it. It's been contained very good. The people are wearing masks, not going out. It's an amazing response from the Japanese people. I just do not see why the world is focusing on this cruise ship, which is quarantined off the coast. Instead of looking at the numbers and talking about the deaths and how Japan's numbers are going up, how about talking about what we can do to help them and to get them finding solutions to help these people that are on the cruise ship, right? Which is and most of these people are international people, and it falls on Japan to take care of them. And that's really, and all these cruise ships coming in, falls on Japan to take care of all the passengers and working with the companies. It's just such a really hard thing. All of a sudden, 1,600 people come into the country and they need kits and tests. And Japan was not, I don't know, I think they're better prepared than most countries, but it's going to hit anybody it's going to surprise anybody when this type of thing happens. Cruise ships should be better prepared. Yeah, so I don't see it affecting the Olympics. And give me a break. I mean, the Olympics is so far off in terms of influenza and viruses. The Olympics is so far off. This thing burn off before summer. I just do not see it. I don't see it. In the summertime, no. We should be good. But you know what? Probably preventative measures will still continue during the Olympics. I bet you there'll be alcohol pumps. They'll be asking people to wash their hands all the time. Hotels will have better procedures just in case, as well as masks. The precautions will still probably be going on during the Olympics because the world will be looking more closely at Japan as a result of it. I get a feeling that that's Japan's reaction. Whenever they're very reactive when something happens. If something doesn't happen, they don't react. When something happens, they react to it very, very, very strongly. And we saw that when some guy flew a drone onto the prime minister's roof, they just banned drones. All right. When somebody does something or something happens, they take the strongest measure and then they get weaker with it. They lessen up, and learn from it. That's a bad thing for drone flyers. It's a good thing though for something like this, where they just hit hard and then they understand it, and then it evolves from being the worst situation backwards. That's just my experience, guys, talking. I hope it doesn't get too serious to warrant border closures. I can understand what the United States did by closing their borders. There's a lot of mystery involved, and the job of politicians and people in power is to protect the citizens. So I completely understand about that, but protecting the citizens also means protecting the economy and making sure people can have a livelihood after this. So Prime Minister Abe is, I can't say that he's doing a bad job. He's just doing he's doing tough work, where he's balancing between what's necessary to keep this economy running before, during, and after, looking out for the people of Japan. But right now, the pressing thing is just making sure that this does not spread in Japan, and then looking ahead politically. I just take care of the people. That's all I can say right now. Look out for zombies. If somebody is sick, you're not actually wrong here. And if somebody is sick or they look like they're sick, just stay away from them. That's what I do on the subways. If someone's sneezing and I do the visual check. I either get out and move to another car. I don't worry about their feelings. I worry about my health. I get off, move to another car. I sit away from them. If someone is sneezing, and even if they have a mask on, I will move away. It's just smart. It's not worth risking it. And there's sick people in the subway, Japanese, they're wearing masks. They're doing their best. It's not their fault. You can't get angry at them. Sometimes they have to do what they have to do to keep their own livelihood up. And they're doing their best not to infect anybody. But you have to also protect yourself and move to another car. Get off the train. If you've got kids, just keep them away from them and wash their hands immediately. Use the alcohol wet tissues or something. I carry that with me, as well as the Indonesian. We found it. We bought it in Indonesia a while ago, so I carry both of them. Yeah. I got an itch. I try not to touch my face. I have to wash that with alcohol now. Yeah. I have wet tissues with alcohol in it. Alcohol type, it's written here. So I have to wash my face now with alcohol. I'm very, very careful. I'm trying to establish good habits. It seems silly, but everything is a habit and a routine of keeping clean. Just making sure you don't infect other people. Any other questions before I end this? Guys, do subscribe. I'm going to be doing regular updates. I know that a lot of you are coming here to Japan. I want you to see these updates so then you can get a sense of what it's like here on the ground. I went in the center of crowded places in Ikebukuro last time to show you exactly what it's like in these areas. I'm going to do the same thing. So you want to subscribe. Is that Kanai's gift? No, actually, it's all the gifts are in there. I taped it, actually duct taped it to the thing because it's so heavy. So, and I got this for me. Some of you know my ongoing battle with Melon Kuma. So now he's part of, I have him with me. He's the mascot of Ubody City. Yeah. That's all that I really have. I'm looking for your questions now. This is from Elaine Ganiza. We are still planning to go to Tokyo on the 26th. Are popular tourist spots affected? They're asking people to wear masks, and there's alcohol pumps to clean your hands. They're taking precautions, like if you're waiting in line at the Skytree and stuff, they're asking people to wear masks if they have them. Things like this, they're doing that in these crowded places to try and minimize any possible risks. I don't know what Tokyo Disneyland is doing. That's a really good question, and maybe that's something that I should probably ask Solaires, one of our... Actually, if you go into the Discord server, we have a guy named Solares is his name. He writes for TDR Plans, which is a website that talks about Tokyo Disneyland, and he's very active on the Discord server, as well as writing newsletters about Disney. He would know about that. If you have any concerns about Disney, go in there and ask him questions. You can just at him, direct the messages to him, and he'll try to answer. I think it's a very legitimate question that we just don't know the answers to. Yeah, I think we do have to give props to the government for keeping it this low, and the people for being very vigilant here in Japan. If I ever make it to Japan, can we meet? It's just, I got cards. What do you, I don't, I have the You Found Me cards. Anybody finding me in this live stream? Because I'm leaving in like a minute. If you do, I'll find you. I'm doing less. John, do you have an N95 mask? No, I don't. I don't really. I can't count that high anyways. The normal masks work pretty good. You just wear that. You can't find them, all right? And even if you did, they're very difficult to breathe in. And I really don't, I think if you just wash your hands and you take normal precautions, that's more than enough. Wearing those masks, very difficult to breathe in, very difficult to find right now. And if you have them, go ahead and wear them. That's the best advice. If you don't, wear something, all right? Bring alcohol tissues, which is more, they don't have the alcohol thing that I showed you before from Indonesia so much here. They do have it, but it's hard to find. They have these alcohol wet tish, and Japan prefers this because they don't just want to kill the bacteria, they want to clean their hands. You know what I mean? Like a shibori. Oh, it's this thing that you put in the jars to kill the toads for dissection in science class. That's what it smells like. If it does the job, it kills the coronavirus. That's all that matters. What mask do you recommend? Anything you can get, all right, first of all. Second, something that's your size. Make sure it's your size. Something that is moisture absorbent on the inside, but is water resistant on the outside. So this white, pink one that I was wearing, if you put water on it, it will eventually get wet, but it will resist the water. So if somebody coughs on you, it's going to stay on the outside and not penetrate into it. Unless they like snot on you, like a projectile snot, like this, and it gets on you, you better take that mask off really quick and then put like alcohol over your face. Maybe you got a shot. Like, I'm talking about exorcist vomits type of situation, but the mask will even protect you from there. At least, you can take it off. It'll hit that first. Basically, you want a line of defense. I'm trying to be serious. It can enter your eyes. That's true. We don't know that it can enter your eyes mostly from you touching something infected and rubbing your eyes and being in close contact with somebody else, but it does not travel in the air well. But it will stay on objects for a long time. So I washed with the alcohol wipes the table on the airplane. I tried not to touch anything, and as soon as I get home, I'm going to be washing my clothes. Kanai's not even going to touch me. I'm just going to say, Kanai, don't, just stay away. I'm going to alcohol my jacket, spray it, and my boots are staying like in the Genkan. I'm not going to touch them, and I'm going to wash everything. I'm not taking any chances. And that's just for influenza as well. That's not just for this. SARS stopped after 6 months. This is not SARS. This is a completely different beast. It's not as it doesn't hit you as hard as SARS, but it's more infectious, and that's scary. And if you have existing conditions, I heard that it's very, very tough on you. But that's why I'm saying, if you do come to Japan and you're very worried about it, drink less alcohol. Do not drink a lot. Don't get drunk. Don't drink like 20 sakes or something and try to be, like this. You want to stay healthy. Eat more vegetables. Maybe don't eat convenience store food. They put a lot of chemicals in them. Try to eat fresh foods that are organic. Nothing against convenience stores, but those bentos, man, read the label. The number of chemicals that they put in those bentos is amazing in a bad way. So you want to eat organic food that's home cooked by grandmas. Because grandmas, they cook pretty good food with a lot of vegetables, and actually the portions are pretty big. Stay healthy, get lots of sleep, and if you do get anything, you're gonna overcome it a lot faster. Alcohol is one of the things that weakens your immune system. All right, guys, that's some pretty good questions. I didn't see anything new, but if you are worried about this, go in the comment select sections below, right? Leave a comment for me and for other people, and then we will get some answers for you. If you are concerned about visiting Japan, you should be. You should be concerned about traveling anywhere, actually, by airplane and closed quarters with a group of people. You should be a little bit concerned. And I'm just here to tell you that it's not really spreading in Japan. And the numbers that you see on TV from a cruise ship that's quarantined already is disingenuous, and you should not panic about that, okay? Does this help? How is Kansai Airport? I'm not sure. I'm in Haneda. I'm guessing that they're the same, and they're very tough on screening right now, and the staff is all wearing masks, and they're all washing their hands, and there's alcohol pumps everywhere. And before you check into hotels, they're asking you to alcohol pump your hands. Is that a new word? They have an alcohol pump, and they ask you, please use the alcohol. Then you can touch the counter, for example. So they're going to that limit. So that's pretty good. So I think if that just stops, 10, 20 people from infecting other people, that stops the infection chain, and that's very good. Oh, I like her shoes. You see them? They're like glowing. Hey, that's awesome. Do you have that in adult size? I take a 27 and 28 and a half centimeter shoe. All right, guys, thanks so much for watching. Once again, I'll give you another update. It's up to you. If you like this, we get enough likes and comments on this, then I will do another update for you. But I think seeing is believing. And if you take a look and you see staff and people all over the airport, all workers are wearing masks. By the way, those pita masks, the ones that are made out of cloth, like stretchy cloth, they're not good for preventing the coronavirus. That's why they're still available. So just keep that in mind. They're good at stopping pollen, and pita masks are very comfortable, but they're good at stopping pollen and contaminants and like pollution, but they're not so good at stopping viruses. Again, wearing a mask might not be 100% effective. I think if it's worn properly, it does a very good job, and it keeps you from touching your face. Keep that in mind, because you don't want to touch your face at all. All right, how do I get out of here? That's pretty. That looks like the Asahi. Looks like the waterfalls I was just at. Did you guys see that live stream? I was just there. Tokyo is so warm, by the way. I'm sweating. How do I get out of here? Monorail. I want to take Keisei. KQ line. All right. You guys been to the domestic terminal before? Is the media being dramatic? Yeah. What kind of a question is that? Are people believing the media and the hype? Yeah. They are. So just take everything with a grain of salt. Like a big one right now. The answer is we just still don't know. We still don't know. Yeah, Haneda's pretty good. Yeah. Just keep on top of it, everybody. Keep watching the news, whatever news source you like. But just remember that I just touched here. But I used alcohol. I got the alcohol. It's still wet. See? It's hard not to touch your face. Kids, don't touch your face. Picking your nose either. All right, it makes you feel good. You get like some relief after you get one out. But you might have infected yourself, and it's just going to come back in like an hour. All right, kids? So don't go gold digging. Just don't touch your nose. I'm talking to you. You know who I'm talking to. You're watching there with your mom and dad right now. Do not touch your nose. Don't even do it now. All right, guys. And don't bite your nails. I'm looking at all the bad habits that people are taking here. Stay away from crowds if you can. Just take your time. I'm going on the train. I'm going to wear a new mask, everybody. I'm taking the KQ line. Hold on a second. You don't need to see my face. Taking the KQ line. This is the Asakusa subway line. It'll take you past Shinagawa and then eventually past Ginza to Asakusa. Asakusa. pronunciation freaks. And you know what? If I'm pronouncing Asakusa wrong, you tell the lady announcing at the train, next stop, Asakusa. Asakusa. You tell the Tokyo government that that's pronunciation's bad. Don't tell me. I tell it the way that people are gonna hear it. The biggest confusion is between Akasaka and Asakusa. People get that mistake. Akasaka is not Asakusa, but it's similar in Roman letters. But in Japanese kanji, it's completely different. Completely different. Again, the reason why I'm showing you this is so that you can look at people. There's no panic. Everybody's pretty relaxed. I'd say 75% of the people are wearing masks, and the other 25% of the people are hardcore like me. They just stay away from people, or they know that the risks are low. All right. By the way, this is the Sapporo Suica card. I love the flying squirrel. That's awesome, isn't it? Forget the penguin, flying squirrel, man. This is Sapporo's version. So you can use that here in Tokyo. It's pretty cool. So if you're gonna get a Suica card, do it in Sapporo. You get a flying squirrel. And it impresses Tokyoites. They're like, where'd you get that? So I got it in Sapporo. Sapporo. Yeah. All right, see this escalator's crowded. I'm taking the one that's less crowded. See that? That's how you avoid risks. Take the road less traveled. Please do a stroll in Akasaka someday. I think I will. Hey, Florence. Hey, I've been really glad talking with you on the SNS about this. Yeah, I know you should be a little bit stressed out about it. It's not a bad thing, but I just hope that you can get those masks you were talking about earlier. Just make sure you can get the masks and just stay safe, okay? Don't worry. Don't panic, but just stay safe, okay? I'm worried about everybody. Hey, none of these are mine. Shibayama Choda. What the heck is that? Shinzushi. I don't want to go to Shinzushi. Oh, this one goes to... I think this is the direction. Shinagawa Homen? Ah, yokatta. All right. All right, guys. Once again, leave any comments in the comment section below about this. I know that you're worried. There's nothing really to stress about yet, but I'm gonna keep you updated. See you later in the next live stream. I'm off tomorrow, guys. It's been a long trip. Bye, guys.